Well, good morning. My name is Ron Lennox, and I am the Rotary Club Services Vice President, and I want to welcome everyone to the meeting today. Before we get started, Diego, will you make sure that everyone is muted? We don't want to interrupt the speaker. And those of you that are online, if you have a question, please type it into the chat window, and we'll get to you at the end of the presentation. Today, we welcome Daniela Del Villar, founder of Composta San Miguel. Daniela has lived at San Miguel since the age of 3. She's deeply passionate about the environment and has participated in social and environmental movements for years. For the past 4 years, Daniela has been studying and understanding the waste system here in our area and planning a solution to benefit all of us. She's going to explain to us why composting is logical, ethical, humane, sustainable, and just the right thing to do. I think all of us will agree with that statement. However, many of us have excuses for why we do not compost our organic waste. Can I see a show of hands here? How many people in the room compost today?
All right.
Fantastic. More than I figured, and that's really good. Congratulations. Now, I'm sure the rest of us have very good reasons why we don't. Very good reasons. I found the results of a scientific study conducted by Gilmore Research Group in Oregon, and they asked 400 people the reasons why they don't compost. And here are the top answers. 35% said, I just didn't think about it. They have no reason. Other people said it attracts rats, cats, bugs, flies, and it just will smell bad. Other people said it takes too much time. It's easier to throw it away or use the garbage disposal. Other people said it takes too much room in my house. I don't have room for it. I don't have much to get rid of. Plus, I have no garden. I have no lawn. What do I have to compost? And how am I going to use the compost once I get it? Well, Daniela's here to answer those questions or to relieve those concerns of everyone. And now, Daniela, please.
Gracias, Ron. Hey. Thank you very much for inviting me here. I want to let you know that English is not my first language, so please bear with me. And I want to thank Ron for the invitation and all of you guys here and on Zoom. And also, I would like to ask you, I really want to make this interactive, but Q&A maybe at the end. But if there's questions that you have that you feel that need to be immediately resolved in order to keep going, just raise your hand or tell us something through the Zoom. See? So I came here with my mom when I was very young, and we were living in San Antonio. There is a pizza parlor there, still there, owned by this man called Silverio. I don't know if I should say brands, but it's a pizzeria that is right next to the church. And this guy, and I'm talking some years ago. And he was our neighbor, and he invited us to have a workshop around compost, and he made a comic book. I was maybe 6 years old when I met Silverio, and he gave all the kids comics books to color, and that made a really deep impact on myself and how I saw composting. And he talked about the cycles and giving things back to the land and how plants got all the nutrients out of our waste. And that was amazing for me. It's like, oh, seriously, so all the systems can be circular. And he said, yeah, we're the only a species that has waste. All the other species have zero waste. Every other system is circular. So it's like, wow, this is really interesting. And so in my family, the ecological impact and it has been part of the culture. And with Silverio as the leader of the ecological part of this whole community, it was very beautiful to live as a kid on the workshops and all the things we did. So thank you, Silverio. And he's still out there in his little pizza place in San Antonio. So pay him a visit. And So I want to introduce a video. I want to check it out because it explains compost and the importance of it better than anything I've seen. It comes from a documentary that it's called Kiss the Ground. It's on Netflix. I don't know if you heard about it. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. It's beautiful. It talks about the impact of soil health on climate change. And it's amazing because it's so easy to do and it's so logical. So this is a little excerpt that these people did on specifically composting. So if you want to play it, Diego, sí? Gracias.
Have you ever looked at a banana peel and wondered, is that it?
All that time spent nurturing the banana and now it's just waste?
Could this humble peel serve a greater purpose?
Currently in the US, over 60 billion pounds of mineral-rich food material go to landfills each year.
Imagine if we diverted those billions of pounds from the landfill and turned them into compost.
Imagine our cities, vacant lots converted into food forest. Imagine abundance everywhere.
And it can help reverse climate change.
But most likely it won't. Why? Because we're insane.
We define waste as anything unused, unproductive, or not properly utilized.
But waste is a human invention. We're the only creatures on Earth who don't live a zero waste existence.
Yep, thanks to trillions of microbes that are in and around everything, including us.
Anything that lives gets repurposed and contributes to the growth of new life.
Some 500 million years ago, these microbes brought plants onto the land.
The microbes provided minerals and used by the plants through photosynthesis.
This resulted in a terrestrial explosion of life.
More life meant more excretions and deaths, which meant more food and nutrients for decomposers, and all soil life, known as the soil food web.
This increased the abundance and biodiversity of ecosystems and turned barren land into fertile soil.
Today, composting mimics this natural upcycling process, transforming combinations of organic material into life-filled, nutrient-available organic matter.
Compost isn't just mulch, manure, or food waste on its own, nor does it stink. Compost has the aroma of the forest floor after a rain.
It also has superpowers. Compost can enhance food nutrition, increase crop yield, and strengthen plants' immune systems, all while increasing the soil's water holding capacity. And compost stimulates plant growth by bringing in microbial life, nutrients, and water-retaining humus to depleted soils.
More plant growth takes even more carbon out of the atmosphere. Microbes feed plants. Plants feed microbes, and the self-regenerating soil carbon pump cycles on, building soil.
Compost is a regenerative substance. It isn't just fertilizer. It's an essential microbial source, a probiotic for the land beneath our feet.
Now, while we've made some great progress recycling paper and even composting yard trimmings, currently in the US, over 50% of trash going to landfills is food scraps, paper, yard trimmings, and wood, all compostable materials. We are throwing away the very building blocks of life. Only 5% of our food scraps get composted. 5%. That means over 60 billion pounds of mineral-rich food material, much still fully edible, the weight of 4.5 great Egyptian pyramids, go to landfills each year. And there it rots, creating methane gas, a greenhouse gas up to 86 times more potent than CO2. And it's not just food. Grass, leaves, and clippings, all designed by nature to fall back to the ground and increase fertility, are shipped miles to landfill. Now that's insane. Some city governments are finally stepping up by providing green bins to make composting more available, but too often they're misused. Toxic material, trash, is being mixed with the stuff we grow our food in. Just stop it! Don't put toxins or non-organics in that bin, please! Our current agriculture system robs our soils of carbon and biology, replacing them with chemicals. leading to more degeneration and desertification. We've broken the regenerative loop of life. It's crazy.
Without soil, life on land as we know it is impossible. And soil without life, it's just dust.
If the soil is being stripped of its life-giving qualities, what can help save our future? Properly made compost. The soil would be spongy again, retaining water and restoring our underground water supplies.
Fertile farms producing tastier and more nutritious food and no longer covered in toxic chemicals.
Imagine a farm to table to compost to farm system.
This is the regenerative system our future depends on. And doing it at home is easier than you think. You can't at home? Use your green bin. If you for some reason don't have a green bin, request one from your city. Or find a neighbor or community garden who can use your compostables.
Cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, St. Louis, and my hometown, New York, are leading the charge. Thank you.
Countries from Haiti to Australia are using compost to address food security and desertification.
Schools, hospitals, and restaurants are waking up to composting their food scraps.
Scientists and compost manufacturers are improving methods, making our superhero even more powerful.
Yes. Life isn't over for the humble peel. Along with other organic material, it can help restore fertility to our soil, regenerate our food systems, clean our water.
And it can help reverse climate change. Really?
Okay, so what can you do?
Do all you can to support composting.
If we're to keep the planet habitable, human beings must participate in regeneration.
Each of us can play a role to help regenerate our planet simply by composting.
The cycle of this can make or break us. You choose.
I really love that video. It explains it so well. So yeah, the thing is, the way we've been doing business as usual, it's more like a sea, you know, it's like, I would like to see the systems go back to a full circle, because we do extraction, we transform things into products, we buy them, use them, and then get rid of them. But then what's the part of going back to the extraction site and rebuilding it, you know, replenishing it, nurturing with the full cycle? And I believe that's what it's missing for a sustainable future. It's only that little part of the sea that it's missing to be a full cycle. And that's where the main problem is right now, is like, who's responsible for that? Most people are like, the people that do the extraction or corporations, they should be responsible for that. No, the government should be responsible for that. No, the consumer should be responsible for that. Let's not wait till all the lights are green lights so we can go forward. Let's do what we can, each of us, and let's try to choose products from people that are trying to do the right thing as well. Not only the main responsibility, I feel, my vision is that it lands on the consumer, because what is not asked in the market, what people are not buying, the producers will not produce. So if we as consumers choose to buy things from people that are restoring as well, and we do the restoring ourselves of the things that we can fix, then it's just an easier system. Of course, politics are very important on how to prevent corporations that only think about profit and make them do their business in a responsible way, for sure. But if us as consumers ask questions and get involved in that sense, then every peso becomes a vote. Every action becomes a vote. But where we put our money, we put how we're going to shape the future. So let's put our money in products and systems that work for everybody, not just for the immediate gratification of this very nice product, but as you guys have your how do you call what you in the beginning, what you think, say, or do has to
four-way test.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it has to be aligned with your values. Otherwise, it's a no. So for me, it's the same. It's like, this product looks very interesting, is attractive, but does it serve everybody involved? Are people, are indigenous people or other species paying for this? Is my well-being affecting the well-being of other people, seen and unseen? It's very important to ask this question: is the things that I consume, where does it come from and where does it go after I finish using everything? Water, electricity. That's the way that we can be responsible to have a positive impact on the world, not a negative one, not even a neutral. I believe that if we have that consciousness, we can actually make decisions that will impact positively, as this guys. So specifically for compost, there's, it's all consumption. There's this thing of, the impact that we have in the world is larger and larger as there's more humans in the planet. By 1980s, there was 1 billion of people in the planet. No, sorry. But how do you say this date?
Billion.
This is
It's 18 billion?
no, the date.
Oh, it's 1800.
Oh, sorry. 1800s, 1 billion people. Sorry. By the 1900s, 1.5 billion. By the 1950s, 2 billion. Right now, 8 billion. So the population is just going whoop. And if we cannot control development, we can control the way how we develop. If we do it more in tune with nature, I'm pretty sure that we can do it sustainably. And one of the ways to do it sustainably is to try to close all the systems. And to close the system of food is very important, because everything that we look as discussing about trash has to do immediately with the bad management of organic waste. Bad smell, infections, rats, bugs, everything that methane gas, the lixiviates. The lixiviates is that disgusting juice that comes out of the bags when you take it out, and it's like, oh, it fell on my foot. That's disgusting. Well, it smells really bad. And when it goes to the landfill, it creates pools, like little lakes of horror and poison. And so we could prevent that not only. So organic waste is a very beautiful, interesting thing, because when it's put in the wrong place, it's poison. But when it's put in the right place, it's beautiful, very dark gold that can reverse climate change and all the things that we saw in the video of benefits. It's beautiful. And so one of the main benefits that I feel is just having the satisfaction of knowing that we stop being insane and start doing things that make sense. But in order to do that, I believe also that we need to start integrating our emotional body, because many of the decisions that we're making money-wise and development-wise and consumption-wise are leaving out our joy, our healthy shame, our discernment of the things that are beneficial or not only for ourselves, but thinking about it globally. So bringing our body feeling, our body sensation, our emotional body, and our discernment and our mind is going to create a human experience of being more responsible and in tune of what's happening. So what can we do immediately to take responsibility for that is compost somehow. So I started composting here in San Miguel. Well, as I said, in my house, but I went out. I was a circus person for a while. I was on the road, and then I was like, I want to contribute somewhere else. And I came back to my hometown and started doing the composting in Guadalupe. And so people were like, oh, that's really interesting. I used to live in Farolito. Can you install a system in my place? I'm like, yeah, sure. We all need to do it. So and some people are like, I don't have the room. I don't have the time. It smells bad. I want to make a comment here. A compost, if you make it properly, it shouldn't smell bad. It will have bugs for sure, because it's part of the chain. It doesn't need to have rats or something that is dangerous like that, but there will be ants most likely, and roly-polies and stuff like that. they're all part of we need them to break these things down. But some people don't want those guys in their house, it's like, So it's like, okay, how can I create a system that is as simple as possible? So we are doing conferences on how to do it yourself. So if you're interested on that, please talk to me, contact me. But what I'm promoting right now is thank you. My bucket system. Yeah, it's really heavy right now. I'm not gonna. Thank you. So strong. And so after understanding what are the motivations for people to do composting, because that's very interesting as well. Not everybody that does composting want to do it for the same reason. Some people want compost because they have a garden. Some people want to do compost, even if they don't have a garden, they want to do it to divert their waste from the landfill, which is I believe that's the main point right now. The main goal is to divert our organic waste from the landfill. And some other people do it because they have a project, are agricultural. So the motivations of why people do it are very different. And so that has to do with how they do it. So this is a system that has been going on in the US, in Japan, in Costa Rica, and other countries very successfully. Here, there's a very beautiful company that I started getting inspired from. They started in Puebla and we became friends and they told me about it. And I was like, this is beautiful. This is simple. So you don't even have to have a yard. All you have to do is put your waste in the bucket and then I'll come every week. I'll pick up the waste that you put in your bucket and I'll give you a new clean one. You don't even have to wash it. And so after a while, you start getting compost every month and you decide if you want to keep it, you want to use it for your garden, sell it, or you want to donate it. We're also doing an alliance with Regeneration International. They're here working with Via Organica. And they have a reforestation program for mesquite and agave to restore places that have been depleted and restore environment. And it's like parks for all species. So it's very beautiful, the project that they have. And as we saw, that captures water as well. So that will hopefully help replenish the water supply that we have. So little by little, everything helps. So this is an alternative for people that don't want to deal with it themselves. They don't have the time, the patience, or they just don't want to do it. So if you want to be part of the program, please go to Composta SMA.com. I'm going to say it again. That's Composta in Spanish, Composta SMA.com. And I'm sorry, the website is so ugly. I did it myself. As soon as we get some cash flow, I'm going to ask a designer to make it better for me. But I believe that the main details are there. If you have any questions, please contact me. And let me see.
There's the compost.
Huh? Oh, yeah. It's really ugly. So we're starting now. This week, we got our first bucket full of organic waste. So thank you, Diamond and River. They were our first clients, and they have been my mentors for the past couple of years. And so there's so many people that I want to thank. When I was doing the fundraisers for this, I was doing dinners and selling used clothes, and I was doing all kinds of stuff because we needed to buy a truck and have a piece of land and buy equipment. And I've been doing this for 4 years. I'm really, really stubborn. So one of the people that have been there since the beginning is Ron. So thank you very much. She's been supporting all the fundraisers and inviting us and just spreading the word and the love. So thank you. And thank you guys for having us here. And there's so much, I'm so grateful in my heart for all the support and the people that are getting really excited about this change and for this more sustainable future. And so I don't have anything else to say, but I would love to hear from you if you have any comments or questions here or in Zoom. Gracias.
What goes in the bucket and what do you not want in the bucket?
Perfect. Very, very good question. We're doing, so kitchen waste goes in here, yard trimming, garden trimming. What we don't want is anything that is non-organic. Plastic is the main thing that is contaminating this kind of mixes. Glass, metal, of course. Cardboard, yes, and paper, yes, without glossy covered. Even if it says biodegradable, we're still like in the place, especially in Mexico, where things might be or might not be. You know, it's like, oh, but the paper is degradable. The plastic on top of it, not necessarily. So, and what else? Meat, yes. Bones, yes. Oils, no. Like if you have your kitchen oils that look like this, no, that doesn't go there because the microbes are not absorbing it, right? So oil has another treatment. Ashes don't go there. It makes it too difficult for it. It alkalinizes too much the mix. Let's see, like the tea bags. Most people don't know that the bags are actually synthetic. So we don't want that. The string is synthetic as well, and we don't want the staple. So that, no, unless you open the bag and, you know, it's like, see, there's a place in Japan where they have 54 different groups of where they recycle. It's crazy. I talked to them. They're beautiful. But yeah, they open the tea bag. The tea bag goes in one type of plastic. The string goes in the other. The staple goes in the other paper. So paper, yes, as long as it doesn't have ink or glue. See? And what else? Thorns. We're asking people not to put mesquite or nopales or stuff like that. Just, it's compostable, but it hurts our hands where we're working with it. So
Danielle, what about like milk products, like old milk?
Yes, dairy, yes,
Dairy,
yes.
any
yes.
dairy stuff, cheese?
Yes.
That stuff.
All of that can go in there, no problem.
And so let's say that I have a green bucket and I want to keep this and make my own compost.
Mhm.
So I'm putting all this stuff in there.
Mhm.
How long does it take before, I mean, what happens then? Does it just turn into compost or do you have to do something to it?
So before we go into that question, I just want to finish with the last one. Many people are asking about pet poo. And that we will be able to process, not for now, because we really want to get the hang of the process. But eventually, yeah, we want to. So, yeah.
Like pet, you know, like doggy?
Yep.
Take my poop bags and dump them in there?
Yeah. I mean, the compost, that actually goes with your new question, that the compost is different. The amount of compost that you have to choose what kind of system you're going to use. So these buckets are coming back to my system. If you want to do your own compost at home, you need to take a workshop for sure. So if you don't have the time and you don't care about the outcome, really, you're not going to use it for delicate plants and you just wanted to like divert it from the landfill, you can just make a hole on your garden and put the stuff there covered with leaves in there, and it will make itself. You don't need to participate if you don't want to, but if you want to have good compost that you can use for crops or delicate plants, you need to put some work into that.
So if I have a green bucket and you come and pick it up and you take it to wherever, then you guys are making the compost,
Oh, yeah.
right? Then what do you do with it?
We're making the compost and we're using the pile system, and that goes up to 70 degrees centigrade. I don't know how much that is in Celsius, but it's very hot. You could almost boil water on top of it. And so that kills all the bacteria and the bad bugs and the seeds, etc. What we do with it is we give it back to you. So I take your scraps, we process it, and then we bring it back to you.
We have some comments and questions from
Sure.
the chat room.
Yeah.
Tom asks, number one, can restaurants participate? And do you use red wiggler worms? So those are the two questions there.
Good. Restaurants are welcome to participate. We're not doing major production yet. We want to start with small. Just because of the logistics, restaurants need to be picked up every day. And for regular consumers at home, we can do it once a week. So we don't have the means yet, a truck we don't have enough trucks and drivers to do it every day. That's why. But there's some smaller restaurants that want two times a week. We can do that for sure. We're not using worms right now. We're using the pile system that heats up. So for warm system, you need to regulate the temperature and really open the compost. We have a small facility. So we're doing it in a very compact system. So we're injecting air and raising the temperature to also make it faster. See.
Two more comments, not questions, but Carol says, thank you so much for this critical venture. We're so grateful. I hope our neighborhood will join soon because they have a big park that needs the compost.
Cool.
And Nori says, this is amazing, Daniela. Thank you for sharing such great information.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Fantastic. Yes.
I would just like to thank you for making it easier for those of us that would like to compost. I know personally, the only other time I was able to be consistent in composting was there a smaller version of this happening in Young. I think that like almost 10 years ago, where you could take it, but it was like a tiny little bucket. And I think many of us have been wanting to do this. And again, it's like you don't know where to start, or you think you don't have the space. And I was just thinking back how that just became easier once I started doing it before, and how much that raises awareness. So thank you for bringing A, the awareness, but B, also just making it easy so that we can jump in and start doing it.
See, thank you. And that's beautiful. Systems wise, and the activism for environmental activism, there's always like, oh, protest this, protest that. Yeah, but what's the solution? What's the next step? We can protest, but let's make it happen some way. Let's make a new system that works for everybody, because it's easy to protest, but then what's the actual solution that we can put on the table? So yeah. I want to thank Sabrina Serving. I don't know if she's seeing this or she will see it in the future, but she's been the greatest supporter for us getting everything that we needed, and it's just been beautiful, and we're friends in common. That's why I remember. But yeah, without her, this wouldn't be possible.
One more question. Yes. From Zoom. Melody asked, can a gated community participate?
Yeah, gated communities are actually the best for us because they're already organized. They already have a communication system in place that it's usually a little bit challenging with colonias that don't have that. But because we can rely on the communication system, it's just like send a couple emails, everything that we need to say goes out clearly, and then we do it one day. It's really easy to organize. So that's best.
I've got one.
Oh, yes.
What's the cost of getting started?
Oh, yeah. Good question. So I'm looking for, if you guys know how I can get cheaper buckets, that would be amazing. But for now, I buy them for 250 pesos. So we need 500 pesos to get started. So the subscription pays for your 2 buckets. One is in the facility being washed and the other one's at your home being filled. And then from then on, it's 90 pesos each collection. So you pay for a taxi for your compost pretty much.
Dorothy, do you have a question?
Yeah, no, that was my question.
That was your
perfect.
question. Tom, Julie, go ahead.
What's the name of that movie again? Is it
It's on Netflix. Yes, Kiss the Ground.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. Thank you for asking.
Tom, you have a question? Tom Schneider?
No, he has an announcement.
Oh, Tom, you have an announcement?
Okay.
Yeah, I just had a sunshine report here from the Sunshine Committee, and that is that our honorary Rotarian Dr. Walter Scott, turned 100 this week, 100 years old. And for Happy Pesos, I'm going to donate 100 pesos for Walter's 100th year birthday, being part of this club. Thank you.
That's our guest. That's great. That's great. Anybody have any other questions for Danielle?
If we don't take our bucket today, where can we get them?
You subscribe to the program and I'll take it to your home. All right?
Thank you.
Cool.
Do you have a card that we can get, or is it just a website that you?
I don't have cards. No, sorry. But yeah,
Not compostable.
I know. If it's .com or .org.
.com. Yes, that's the right, yeah.
Compost SMA.com.
See, so if you go there, we'll be connected through email, WhatsApp, you choose.
And we can sign up today.
Yeah, you can sign up right now. Okay. So here's your bucket.
Just like my bucket.
Beautiful. So I'll get your information in a second. Okay.
Daniela, I really appreciate you being here. That was a very interesting presentation.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
do a little bit of composting ourselves with our folks out in the compost, our dry composting toilets. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I am. And that is so great. That is, I mean, pooping in clean water makes no sense. So thank you for doing that. I love composting toilets.
Hey, do you think it's possible that they could actually, in those dry composting toilets, take things like their food waste and throw it down the toilet too?
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if they're doing that. I don't know.
As we're trying to teach people to convert from open air defecation to this, we try to keep it simple.
But if an apple core falls down there, it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, very good.
So our toilets take 6 months. Once they're sealed off, they take 6 months to fully compost.
Right.
And that's probably a little bit longer than you really have to compose organic scrap.
Mhm.
That's right, I think.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, it depends on the system, but yeah, that should be enough for sure. See.
Well, I want to thank you for being here. Again, it was a very interesting presentation. And because you came here, we have a gift for you. Here it is. It's a certificate of appreciation. You probably cannot compost this because it's not income. And we we'll email it to you. But the Rotary Midday Club of San Miguel de Allende presents this certificate of appreciation to you for your presentation to our club today. And in honor of that, a donation of 10 polio immunizations will be made in your honor to the End Polio Now campaign.
Thank you
very
so
much for
much.
being here. Really do. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Ron Lennox, another fabulous presentation today. Who do we have next week?
Next week, we have Erica Montez, who's the U.S. consular agent for San Miguel, and she's going to give us an update.
That's going to be a huge, yeah, we may need a bigger room. Although I will not be here in person, I will have to zoom in as I will be coming to you from the lovely city of Lima, Ohio. Lucky me. CPC, our Club Projects Committee, will meet immediately after we adjourn. Thanks for attending, everybody. Hello?
Skip?
Yeah.
I want to follow up on Tom's comment about Walter Scott. I just sent him a happy birthday email. I'm going to give you his email address right now. So all of you that know and remember Walter warmly, his email address is wpscott39@gmail.com. wpscott39@gmail.com. He'll be more than happy to hear from you.
Where is Walter now?
He's in Florida.
Florida? All right, thanks, Gary.
You're
All
welcome.
right. Anything else for the good of the order? If not, the meeting's adjourned.